Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanmanjari Vidyapith for the students of Standard 9, in which we are going to learn the subject of English. Students, from today onwards we are going to start with formal letter writing, a very important topic in the writing section. After essay writing, essay writing and story writing is the last question in the question paper. Before that, we have letter writing. After story writing or essay writing, which carries approximately 7 marks in the board paper, letter writing letter writing is the question which carries the second highest marks in the paper. It is completely of 5 marks. So let us begin with our today's topic, that is letter writing. This is the first lecture in formal letter writing. Students, I hope you are ready with your writing material. If not, please be quick enough to collect your writing material. Should be a rough book where you can scribble very fast, because lots of things will be displayed on the screen which you need to note down, and then at leisure time you can copy it down in the grammar book, in which we have made a separate writing section. So students, please get hold of writing material, pen, paper, rough page or rough book, whatever is convenient with you, and please be ready so that we can start with today's topic. This is just an introduction. Letter writing is an art. Why is letter writing considered as an art? Because science and technology has provided us today with mobile phones, computers, laptops, with which we can very effectively, efficiently, and within a very short time we can communicate with n number of people together. For example, we can make a conference call, we can communicate with lots of people on screen. We have Zoom, we can have conference call where lots of people can get together and have a video call. Apart from that, we have emails, we have texting services, that is SMS, we have social media, that is WhatsApp, etc., with which we can communicate within no time with a number of people. That is, today we have that facility, but in the earlier time when communication was not that much speedy, basically communication was not speedy because of the transport system. The transportation system was not that speedy, which could not take your message from one place to another in a very quick time. So at that time, letter writing was, or letters were the only form of correspondence with two people. Now we have already learned earlier that written correspondence can be of two type if we are writing letter. One is informal, another is formal one. In informal letters, we write to our relatives, near and dear one, family members, unknown people, and we call it informal because there is no formal language used over there. We are corresponding either to show our feelings, emotions, either some celebration uh, matter is there, or something very sad is to be discussed, or some sad message has to be conveyed. At the same time, you feel very happy, or simply if you feel like writing to some of your family member or friends where relationship is quite near, and we write to our near and dear ones, and we do not have to use formal language. uh, we are writing to our parents, siblings, we are writing to our cousins, nieces, uncles, aunts, grandfather, grandmother, we are writing to some known relatives. That is all informal letter. when we come to formal letter, today we are going to discuss the different types of formal letter. But what basically we are talking is writing letter. It is an art. The writing and reception of letters will always offer an experience that modern technology cannot touch, because you have the physical touch of paper touched by someone, because he has touched that paper with his hand. His hand was somewhere on the paper. He has written with the ink, with the pen, but the flow has come from the heart. Whatever he had in heart, whatever he has in mind, the person has written it. It has a personal touch, right? You feel very happy after a long time if you receive a letter from your cousin, right? So in this way, letter as a personal touch, which today's modern technology cannot have. Suppose we are corresponding with our cousin, or suppose we are corresponding with an office. In both the correspondence, we have used email. आपने ईमेल देख लिया, आपने अपना ईमेल प्रोवाइडर सर्विस जो है वो बंद कर दिया, राइट? नाउ अगेन इफ यू वांट टू रीड, you have to again have access to internet. You have to again log into your mail. You have to open your mail and read the letter. On the contrary, a written letter can be filed. It can be decorated as you want. A color paper can also be used. Color pens can also be used for decorating. And we can file it. Whenever we want to see it, we can just open the file and we can have a look at the letter. So, writing and reception of letters will always offer an experience that modern technology cannot touch. For example, Twitter is effective for broadcasting what you had for lunch. Yes, in the recent times, you see tweeters. Yes, lots of famous personalities. Wherever they go, they instantly tweet that this restaurant, I visited this restaurant, I had lunch, and this was the menu, and from there I liked this many items. So Twitter is effective to say what you want, but then the effect is quite limited. Email is fantastic for quick exchange on the most pertinent pieces of information. Suppose you do not have an address, you can ask your friend to email you the address. So within no time, the address will reach to you. Because in today's world, we take, especially your generation, we take everything for granted, right? Because we think मोबाइल तो पहले से था, थोड़ा बहुत चेंज होगा, लेकिन मोबाइल तो पहले से था, right? So why to wait for a letter? Why to waste time on writing letter? Go out and post it, buy a stamp and post it, and it will take 2-3 days to reach over there. And after that, the letter will be in the hands of the person. It will take 5 days to communicate in what you can communicate in 5 minutes. But that is thanks to the great leap in science and technology that we have in the recent times. So email is fantastic, where you want to exchange some uh, information which is very persistent, or which is very, very important to you. So let us create a connection that modern impersonal forms of communication can never approach it, because a son has written to his father. Now the letter has been touched by the son. The paper and the pen with which he has written the letter has a personal touch. And the father and mother, when they receive the letter, it has a personal touch of his son. The same thing, if you imagine, by WhatsApp, or by a phone call, or by email, that personal touch is missing, because it's just a message that you receive. You have thoughts that you wish to communicate to another through the medium of letter writing even today. Official also, unless you don't have something. Suppose in office also, you send an email. That's a record, but you have to have a physical record also. So at the end, you have to print that mail on a paper and keep it as a record, right? So at the end, you have to get it on the paper if you want to have a personal touch. And there are lots of thoughts you want to communicate, where letter is a better medium than other mediums that we have today. Write a letter in, this is very important. Whether you are writing informal letter, whether you are writing a formal letter, in both the cases, write a letter in such a manner that after reading the letter, the person starts having some respect for you. That means it should be written in such a good language. It should be written in such good words, which have a lasting impression on that person, and the person readily wants to reply to you. Unless and until he is not impressed by your writing, he will not be in a mood to communicate with you further. If you have written something which he doesn't understand at all, yes, then it is of no use. If your handwritings are so bad that to read the paragraph he has to waste 15-20 minutes because he cannot understand head and tail of what you are saying because of your handwriting. Yes, he understands something and goes to the next sentence, then he realizes no, पहला sentence और second sentence में कोई connection nahi hai. So he has to read it again so that, oh, it is not this, it is this. Then he continues with the letter. He reads 2-3 lines, again he gets confused, he has to start from the. So write a letter in such a way, in such a manner, to secure the respect and consideration of the person whom you are corresponding with. It is very, very necessary. It is absolutely necessary, and this is the way we get marks. And just few days ago, I had one of the student asking me to recheck the WRT paper because he got very less marks. He wants to understand where he lost marks. So I went through the paper, and to my surprise, I found that a 2-mark question is written in one word. A 2-mark question of the textbook is written in, say, 2 or 3 lines. Letter starts with a date directly. Only 3 lines of one paragraph is written and the letter is over. Right? So, did he earn my respect? No. Did he earn my consideration? No. We lose marks in this way because we are students right now, and for academic purpose, that is to score marks, we have to concentrate on the language that we are writing. We have to concentrate on the content that we are writing. We have to understand the question properly and answer that question only. Right? So write a letter in such a manner. So it is a very good habit. Letter writing is and must be a habit. Even if you are writing a small chit. Suppose you are all alone in the house, mommy and daddy, they are out. None of the brothers or sisters are at home, and urgently you also have to leave home. You have to leave a small chit and put it on the dining table or stick it on the refrigerator so that as soon as people come, they can see your note. Now, that small note should make perfect sense why you have to leave house all of a sudden and why you are not present when other people came to the home. Now that message should be conveyed properly. Then and then only it makes some effect. It makes some impression. It gives a correct message to the person who is reading it. So write a letter in such a way that it secures the respect of the person who is reading it. The person considers what you have written and gives an appropriate answer, or has at least the mood to correspond with you. Words in proper format and style will have more effect and impact. That means a letter should be written thoughtfully, not without any thought. जो दिमाग में आया लिख दिया, that is rubbish what you are writing. And if you are writing rubbish, you cannot expect good marks. You will also get marks, just rubbish. 5 may say half a mark, 1 mark, 1.5 mark, because the person is not totally impressed by what you have written. So our grammar should be good, construction of the sentence should be very good, choice of words should be very good. We should have some exemplary vocabulary used over there. Lots of use of good adjectives should be there. All this makes up the letter quite good enough, whether it is formal or whether it is informal. Of course, in informal letter, we pour out our emotions, which should be totally absent in a format or a formal letter. Now, let us come to a point. What is the difference between an informal letter and a formal letter? Informal letter, suppose you are writing to your cousin. There is no topic, because we are not writing subject. There is no topic on which you are discussing, or simply you are having some spare time and all of a sudden an idea clicked to you, or you remembered your cousin and all of a sudden you had an impulse. Okay, let me write a letter to him. So you start writing a letter. You don't know what to write. You just start, and then ideas pop up in your mind, and you have written 1.5 page, and you thought, okay, this is fine, and you sign off and you post a letter. That is informal letter. Formal letters we write to administrative offices, we write to government officials, we write lots of letters to dealers, shopkeepers, with which we have done some economic transaction. We write letters of inquiry. Now, it is not that all of a sudden you have an idea clicking in your mind, let me write to the police commissioner. And what are you going to write? Hello, sir, I just thought of police commissioner and I'm writing to you. How is the situation of law and order? You are not the authority to ask him what is the situation of law and order in the city. Are all your policemen doing their duty properly? You must be working day and night, yes, looking after the police people and seeing that there are no thefts. And no, you don't write such rubbish to the police commissioner of the city. So you see, this is the difference. The topic at hand, that is only to be discussed. No emotions are to be involved. Even if you are angry, you have to restrain or restrict your anger and write in such a way that your anger is seen, but the words are not offensive. They don't hurt the sentiments of the person who is reading it. He also can read the anger that you are displaying in your letter, but no offensive words are used over there, right? Which hurts the sentiment of the person and something goes wrong. So this is the basic difference between the informal letter and a formal letter. So the correct format of the letter writing, topic of the letters are going to be discussed in this formal letter writing. Correct format. Usually informal letter, they do not have any format. But then also we should be writing the address, we should be writing the date, we should be giving a proper salutation, opening salutation, then we should have paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, the parting lines, then the closing salutation. If you remember something, then you can attach some photographs, some other letters that you want to pass on, or you can add a note at the end of the letter, so that because you remembered that after you wrote the letter, so you can write a note at the end of the letter. That was the format for informal letter. Now for formal letter, whole of the word follows one specific format, then we also have to follow that specific format. Letter writing is considered as one of the most important questions as students. As I said you, in the 10th standard board exam, letter writing comes for 5 complete marks. Whole of the 5 marks is in your pocket if you have written the letter in proper format, you have discussed all the things that are asked in the question, you have chosen your words properly, you have lot many adjectives to beautify your writing, your grammar is up to date, there is no mistake in grammar, there are no spelling mistakes. The examiner doesn't find anywhere where he can put his red pen and cut your marks. So this is one of the most easiest question where you get complete 5 marks without any doubt, if the preparations are good. So points to keep in mind, especially for formal letter writing, and this please write it in the fair book also. Yes, I'll be giving you enough time to write. I'll be dictating if you're not able to see what's written on the screen. Points to bear in mind or points to keep in mind while writing a formal letter. The first point is use of colloquial words. You first write, then we'll discuss what is that. Use of colloquial words, comma, abbreviations. If you don't understand by abbreviations, short form you can write, and slang language should be restricted while writing a formal letter. That means these 3 things should be avoided while you are writing a formal letter. These 3 things should be avoided. Yes, first is use of colloquial words, next is abbreviations, and the third is slang language should be avoided. Now let us understand what these 3 words mean. First is use of colloquial words. Colloquial belonging to a certain region, used in that certain area only. It is not used outside that area. People are unaware of that colloquial word because it is used in a particular section of the society, or in a particular language, or in a particular region. For India, it will be state. That colloquial word is used in the state, nobody outside that state understands that. So when we are writing a formal language, we should not use a word that is colloquial, belonging to that particular state, religion, or language, which other people may not be able to understand that. For example, you are a Gujarati and you are writing it to the editor of the Times of India, Mumbai, or Bangalore, or Chennai. Now, the Times of India editor in Mumbai will be Maharashtrian. In Bengaluru, he will be a Kannada person, maybe. In Chennai, might be a Tamil person. And you are a Gujarati. So you use some words which are basically Gujarati, and all the 3 people, whether you are writing to Mumbai, whether you are writing to Bengaluru, whether you are writing to Chennai, these 3 people being Maharashtrian, Kannada and Tamil, they will not be able to understand the word you have written in the letter. So there will be a question mark on the word, because that word is very important. It means to say something, but they don't know what it means. So it's a colloquial word used in this specific area, but outside this area, hardly anyone knows about it. Yes? Next is abbreviations. Abbreviations, short form. Yes? Uh, for example, we say Maharaja Krishna Kumar University. It is Maharaja Krishna Kumar, right? University. Now, you have written MKU. Now, the other person who is sitting in Chennai, he doesn't know what MKU means, because this is an abbreviation. This is the short form of a particular three words. That is shortened. That means short form of writing something. That is called abbreviation. So do not use abbreviation. At least once write the full form. Maharaja Krishna Kumar University. Then in the later part, you again need to repeat that same thing. Then you can write MKU. Then he may understand, okay, first he has written Maharaja Krishna Kumar Sinji University, and now he is again writing MKU. That means it must be the same. But at least he gets an idea. So at lots of places, we need to clarify. We do not use simply BMC, Bhavnagar Municipal Corporation. Now that person is sitting in Bengaluru, he doesn't know what BMC means, right? So he will get confused, and there will be lots of question mark in the letter, because you have used some abbreviation, somewhere you have used colloquial words, and he is not able to understand that. So the impression and the effect and the impact of the letter, it simply washes out, because he is not able to understand lots of words that you have written in the letter. You are very well aware of it, but you should also think before writing, that is that person aware of such words, right? Now you understand what colloquial words means, you understand what abbreviation means. Now you use slang language. Slang language is abusive language. Slang language, it happens in particular language that might not be of that much when it is used locally, everybody is using it, so it doesn't appear slang, it doesn't appear hurt, right? For example, you don't write in the letter that उस पागल आदमी ने मुझे बताया था. Okay, you don't write such slang or words which will hurt another person. His feelings, his sentiments will be hurt, because when we say pagal aadmi, then it's not of that much importance. Actually, he is not a mad person. Yes, he is not mentally ill person, or he is not a mentally retarded person, right? So, but when we write it officially, it means it, right? So there are lot many words, even in the Gujarati language as well as English language, which are used in day-to-day language, but they are considered slang when we write it officially. When we are using official language, then we should stick to official language, and slang language will not be used while we are writing letters, right? So be very, very careful not to use these three things. First is colloquial words, second is abbreviation, and third is slang language. Yes. it should be restricted. As far as possible, we should try to be more formal, right? And should avoid using these words. A formal letter must be precise and to the point, which is totally opposite to informal letter. Informal letter, you can keep on writing 3 pages to your cousin, to your uncle, and he will be more than happy to receive such a big letter from you. See, your uncle will be telling it this to his neighbor. देखो मेरे बच्चे ने कितना लंबा लेटर लिखा, 3 पेज भर के लेटर लिखा, and I'm very happy. You try to write such a long letter to the editor of a newspaper. After reading half of it, he's going to just throw it in the dustbin because you're just going round and round and he doesn't know what you aim to say. So it should be precise. Precise means to the point. Yes, and it should not cover anything beyond that point. Yes, hello sir, how are you? I am fine, you are fine, everybody is fine. Yes. No, you're not supposed to unnecessarily increase the number of words in the letter. Try to be as much precise as possible. Stick to the point. Yes. And next, the subject line is very, very important in formal letter. It is totally absent in informal letter. But the subject line is very, very important in the formal letter. Because the receiver of the letter, maybe he is in some government office, maybe he is the editor of the local newspaper, or the editor in some far off region, city, somewhere else. Maybe it's just the shopkeeper, maybe it's the manager of the mall. His first glance is going to be on the subject line rather than his address or who has written that letter. His first eyes, the very first things his eyes will fall on is the subject line. He is going to read, yes, does it pertain to my department? Right? Now you have bought some electronic item from the mall and that was faulty and you wrote a letter to the mall. Now that should go to the electronic department rather than that it has reached the ready-made garment section. So the manager of the garment section is going to see the first thing is the subject. Faulty electronic component or faulty TV. No, he says, no, this letter is not mine. It belongs to the... So it is not the addresses that we are writing, our address or the firm's address or date. His eyes are going to fall directly on the subject. Does it relate to me? There are at least 100 desks in a government office, in a government department, right? And chances are your letter will end up at the wrong desk and end up in a wrong department. So first thing is they are going to send it back because it doesn't pertain to them. So subject line is very, very important in formal language. Formal letters. Now let us discuss the types of letters that we are going to study. The different types of letters, formal letters that will be asked in the board. So these are the 4 ones. Letters to the editor. I hope you're writing in your notebook. Types of formal letters. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 types. There are lots of numbers of formal letters types, right? But we are going to write just this much. Letters to editors of newspapers, of magazines, that is the first type of letter where we write to the editor of the newspaper for some common good. मेरे घर में पानी नहीं आ रहा है, that is your individual problem. But if the whole society you are living in, you have lots of irregularity in water supply, then that is for the good of lots of people. And the authorities must be drawn attention towards the irregularity of water supply that such a lot of people are facing. So it should go to the letter should be directed to the editor of the newspaper or magazine. Yes, now just imagine how absurd it should look that you're writing to the editor of the local daily, सर मेरे घर में पानी नहीं आ रहा है, कल आया था आज नहीं आया है, बाजू वाले घर में आया था मेरे घर में नहीं आ रहा है. So it doesn't happen. And so letters written to the editor of the newspaper or magazine should pertain to some public welfare. It should be able to draw the attention of the people who are reading the newspaper or magazine that this is not only the difficulty of the person who has written the letter, the same thing is happening with me. So it is for the public awareness, right? Sometime to draw people's attention uh, to some things which the public should be aware of. So we are going to write letters to the editors of the newspapers, magazines. Next is complaint letter. Complaint letter will go to a specific department with which you have some complaint. It can be a government body, it can be a government department, it can be even a small shop, it can be a dealer with which you have been dealing. So there, because of some goods and services, some complaint has arisen and you want to sort out the matter. So complaint letters are to be written. Letters for placing orders. Very, very important. In today's world of quick communications like emails, etc., you write an email, you place an order. The same thing can be done in the letter earlier, because everyone needs a hard copy to file in their reports that such a demand had come, and according to the demand we sent the supplies, and we got the check or we got the money in this manner, that mode. Okay, so placing an order, that is the letter which you have written works as an order that has been placed with that particular company, with that particular shop, or with that particular manufacturing firm, right? So that letter is considered as a request which has been placed for purchasing something, right? So placing orders. Last one is inquiry letter, right? In inquiry letter, we have lots of queries. Suppose we have um, read some advertisement somewhere, but we are not clear what it means, right? We want to clarify because hopefully it is very helpful to us, but we want some clarification. Then we can write a letter of inquiry to that particular firm, particular company, or asking more information. What is inquiry? Asking more information from there so that we can work upon that information. If it is useful, we will certainly communicate further. So these are the 4 types of letters that we are going to deal with. Yes, I hope you have written it. Types of formal letters. First is letter to the editor of the newspaper, magazine. Next one is complaint letter. Third one is letters for placing orders. And the fourth one is inquiry letters. Now we will have a look one by one. Letters to the editors of newspapers, magazine. You're going to write this, whatever is on the screen, so better be quick. And also listen to what is being said. Drawing the public's attention towards social or common issues. So as we discussed, yes, मेरे घर में छत वीक हो गई है और बारिश आता है तो पानी अंदर आता है, then who is going to help you? Nobody, right? So we are writing a letter for some common good, or we are displaying some problems faced in the society, we are trying to draw the attention of the people towards some social problem or some common problem, right? For example, most common problems that we on academic part, uh, what we make the students write are, so some of the problems are, suppose street light in your area is not functioning since last 1 week, right? So that is for common good, because if lights are not there, motorcycles and scooters and cars and trucks, buses, all of them can ply on that road because they have their own light. They can switch on their light in the darkness and they'll go slow, right? But then it doesn't matter much. But what about cyclists? What about people who come out for walking during the evening? It becomes dark and then they are not able to see, or they will end up in a ditch. साइकिल वाला तो सीधा खड्डे में मिलेगा, राइट? साइकिल खड्डे में होगी, वो खड्डे के बाहर गिरेगा, या खड्डा बड़ा होगा तो साइकिल समेत अंदर जाएगा, राइट? दैट इज फॉर कॉमन गुड. Irregularity of water, that is again a common issue. It happens, keeps on happening. We have to draw the attention of the authorities. Now, do we or you have time to go to the municipal corporation, approach the proper department, approach the proper desk and tell them about the irregularity? We know what the standard answer we are going to get. ठीक है, मिल जाएगा. It doesn't happen, right? So we print it in the newspaper, automatically the authority comes to know that अभी तो बहुत सारे लोग complain कर रहे हैं, let's look at the matter, right? So it is for common good. Another topic for writing letters to newspapers is drawing their attention towards social problems like getting the girl married before the age which is prescribed by the Supreme Court, by the laws, is child marriage, which is usually termed as child marriage if according to the prescribed age of the law which bans child marriage. So that is a common societal problem. Then lots of ruffians, they gather up in the evening and eve teasing. So all of that is social problem. Lots of dropouts of children from the school. They are not attending the school after a certain age because they have to help at home, or they have to go out and work and cannot continue their studies. That is a social problem related with illiteracy, right? And because they didn't continue with their studies, and now they do not have proper education, so they have to do manual job. So all this, yeah, persistent and continuous social problems or social evils, many of them which are found in the society, we have to draw attention. So something has happened which you saw and you want to share it with the people, that today also all these problems which are faced by people in the society are still going on. So lots of more people will be aware of it, and we can do something to bring a solution to that social problem. Expressing your views about child labor, unemployment, crime against women, then there are lots of topics. So these are the general topics which are related with either common good, or they are related with the prevailing social problems, or they are, some of them are social evils. For example, crime against women is a social evil. Unemployment is not only a social problem, it is also a national problem. It's also an economical problem. Because of unemployment, people will remain poor, right? So child labor, yes, the child should be in the school, he should be getting his education, whereas he is not allowed to go to the school and he is made to do labor, which is not good for his health. So all that. Then problems arising due to increasing population, yes, that can be one of the problems that the society faces. Drug addiction is yet another problem faced by the society. that the youth today is getting spoiled. So all this are social problems. Some of them are for the common good of the people, that if these things are removed, the society will be a very good place to live in, and will be not only satisfied with the society to live in, it will be a very good place to live in, and we will all enjoy living in the society that we have built up. So it is for common good. So we want to draw public's attention towards it. And how can we do it? By writing a letter to the editor and requesting him to publish your letter in the newspaper. So lots of people will be able to read it, and you will be able to reach your views, your viewpoints to all those people who are reading the newspaper. It can go in hundreds, it can go in thousands, it can go in lakhs, because lakhs of people are reading the newspaper, and they read your letter and realize, yes, today also this thing is happening. What this boy or what this girl is saying is absolutely true, and we should try to remove this from the society. This is a social evil. It's not good for the common people. So this way, pointing to the rash driving by the bus. This is yet another issue by the bus, truck drivers, or speeding by bikers. Now and then we continuously see, or on the TV also, we read from the newspapers also, that कार वाले ने या बस वाले ने ट्रक वाले ने फुटपाथ पे गाड़ी चढ़ा दिया. He was driving in a very rash manner, uh, irresponsible manner, and because of that lots of damage happened to the public property, private property. One or two people got injured, perhaps there was a casualty also. You have seen five or six of such news continuously happening in a span of say 10 days, and you got very worried that this is not good. The authorities are not doing anything about it. So in order to draw the attention of the authorities, or in order to draw attention of the people, write a letter to the editor of the newspaper. After all, this is something good for the society, some common good. Health and hygiene issues, eve teasing, social morale, etc. All of them, health and hygiene. Yes, potholes. It's a frequent one during the rainy season, that the roads, they get washed away, and there are huge potholes over there. Yes, where an entire motorcycle wala can go in and water will be filled. Nobody will be able to know, and the person may die also, right? So these are quite common issues going on. So health, hygiene, all of that, sanitation, all these are persistent and continuous problems that are happening in the society, and to make the authorities aware of it. Yes, कोई गांव में पिछले 1.5 महीने से 2 महीने से कोई डॉक्टर जाता ही नहीं है. Now it will affect the health of that village. People of the health of that village will be in the question, because people are not getting medicine, or people are not getting medical attention, and they have to leave their work, they have to leave their village and come to the nearest town or city in order to get proper, to solve their health problems, right? Whereas the government has nominated a doctor over there whose duty is to come every day and be at the PHC over there, public health clinic over there, and look after the patients and treat them properly. But he doesn't come, right? So all this hygiene, health, lots of garbage is lying over there. You have lots of mosquitoes and insects and flies over there, and it's quite the stink. It stinks the whole of the area of that garbage where the garbage is lying. It stinks like anything, and it's not good for health. All these issues must be drawn attention towards, and you can write a letter to the local daily or the magazine, local magazine, or some other magazines also, and you can point out these things. You can write your views in it, and lots of people will be reading it, and they'll become aware of it. Eve teasing is yet another issue. Social morale is going down. Yes, there's lots of poverty, so in order to get hold of some money, people are turning towards the path of crime. Unemployment is also one of the major issue in this area, so there has been lots of thefts, etc., because people are not having employment. They need money to survive, they need to feed their family. Where are they going to get money from? So these things are on the rise. Crime is on the rise because of poverty, unemployment. So social morale is going down. So these are the some of the continuous issues that are going on in the society. We need to draw the attention of the people also. We need to draw the attention of the authorities also with the help of our letters, because after all, authorities are also reading the newspaper, and they will come to know that nowadays lots of views are published in the newspaper, and that is not good for our department. Yes, our department is being questioned. What is the hygiene department doing? What is the police department doing? So many thefts are happening. So they will also become cautious, and they will be doing their duty in a more better way. So we cannot remove all those social problems. We cannot do something good for the society all alone. So what is the best idea? To gather more people so that lots of discussion can happen, and after all, the problem can be solved. So we'll be stopping over here for the day. For today's lecture, I will be continuing the same topic of formal letter writing in our next lecture. Thank you, students.